So there was an online demo for ARMS this weekend called the ARMS Global Testpunch on the Switch. It's Nintendo's big new IP that they're releasing next month, and I definitely wanted to try it out. At first I tried the motion controls where you have one Joy-Con in the left hand and one Joy-Con in the right hand, and just sort of punch and move around with that. But I didn't really get used to it that much. I probably have to play it a little bit more before I get used to something like that. But after a while, I just switched to a regular controller. It just felt better to press buttons to execute my attacks rather than trying to make a punch around it or something. From what I've heard, that you can't really make a curved punch while using the controller, but I think you can, just like by tilting the analog stick a little bit. I think that's how you might make it work, but correct me if I'm wrong if anybody has found out how to do that. Because I think that's how you do it if you're just using a controller and not the motion controls. There's 4 basic things that you have to do in this game, and that's punching, blocking, and jumping or dodging. And punching, blocking, grabbing is sort of a paper, rock, scissors type mechanic, I think, where punching beats a grab, grab beats a block, and block beats a punch. And jumping and dodging is just trying to avoid getting hit. You can also charge up your punches by holding the jump button, which I actually didn't try out until I stopped recording footage. And then there's your special or super meter where you can get a lot of damage if you get a hit in. All of the characters feel very different as far as their speed and strength goes, but after playing over the weekend I eventually got used to Ribbon Girl the most. I also started just using the Slap-O-Mander arms, which I felt more comfortable hitting people with. At this point I don't know if any combinations are better than others, but I just like the Slap-O-Mander arms. It just feels like they have more reach or something, I'm not sure. When you were in a lobby for the demo, you didn't know which game mode type you were going to be in until you get matched up with somebody. I imagine it's going to be different for the actual game, but for this, it was just testing out different modes for people. There was the 1v1 mode, which is probably the most pure out of all the modes. There was a 3-player free-for-all, which was probably the most erratic. Most people seem to dislike that one. Then there's 2v2, which is self-explanatory, it's pretty fun. And then a weirder sports mode, which was volleyball. And some people like it, some people seem to hate it. I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I know for next weekend they're going to do something different where it's going to be called hoops rather than volleyball. So I imagine it's going to be some kind of basketball thing. I really wanted to do a lot more 1v1s so I could get used to fighting just one person. But since the demo sends you into a random mode, you just kind of hope that you get what you want. Like I said, I severely doubt that's how it's going to be in the main game. I will say that the graphics of this game is by far the best looking Switch game so far. It is the first-party Nintendo game that has been built from the ground up for the Switch. Breath of the Wild was built up from the Wii U, Mario Kart 8 was on the Wii U, and Splatoon 2 looks like it's using a lot of assets from the original. But this game looks really good, especially some nice detailed texture on stuff like Ribbon Girl's hair and Min Min's hat. It has good detail, but also still has that very cartoony look that we love Nintendo for. So even if people don't really connect with this game, it's still going to have a really good presentation. The online also worked completely fine for me. I wasn't disconnected at any time that I was playing, though I know results may vary depending on where you are, and also if you have a decent Wi-Fi connection in your house. As far as playing the game itself, at first I wasn't really into it, but after the other 2 sessions that I played, I got used to it and I started having a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it yet. I'll probably wait until I get more info about the other modes. Like, I think there's going to be a story or arcade mode. And I'm not really into fighting games, but I liked what I played of this. And I know this isn't a traditional fighting game, so a lot of people might scoff at that comment. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll get it yet when it comes out. But I'll definitely play it again next weekend when they have the other demo scheduled. So if you have a Switch and tried out ARMS, tell me what you thought of it down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take